So if you've been on social media the last couple of days, you may have come across this post on LinkedIn by Stevie Chazard that's been doing the rounds on Twitter. If you don't know, if you haven't seen this before, he's the Monetization Director at Ubisoft, which is, of course, a company known for predatory microtransactions and monetization policies, basically complaining about how gamers are ruining the industry. It's an interesting piece that seems to lack a fair bit of self-awareness, but we'll take a look at it, and yeah, I'll share my thoughts on the post and so forth with Stevie and what he's said. So going through it, I rarely post on social media, but today I am sad, ashamed and sad. The gaming industry is rough at the moment. We all know it. Oh boy, do we know it. But seeing how gamers react on social medias, wishing ill fate to companies and people alike, is sad. I mean, look, the state of the gaming industry has been on a downward spiral for a fair while now, as we know. And to be honest, when you've got stuff like this blaming gamers for pretty much everything going wrong in the gaming industry, it's a little rough to fail to understand why we're enjoying seeing the demise of some of these companies that have been preying on gamers and delivering substandard products for a long time. You're getting your comeuppance. It's just how it is. I'll continue on. So even though it is always the vocal minority that express themselves on social media, I was hurt and ashamed to be part of this community. What is even more revolting is coming on LinkedIn and seeing the same comments from people within the industry. Well, this is pretty telling. So you basically complained about how gamers are celebrating the demise of companies like Ubisoft and many others, especially in regards to layoffs, how their share prices are tanking, all that sort of stuff. And now you're complaining that you're seeing the same comments come from people within the industry. So these are your peers who are also celebrating the demise of big AAA companies and seeing, them all collapse and lay off staff. So I think it's a bit rich to do what he says in the next paragraph as exposing yourself as clearly non-decent human being. There's problems in the gaming industry, we all know that. But when gamers and people in the industry are celebrating the demise of these big AAA companies, you've got a problem. And no amount of deflecting blame onto gamers and your industry peers is going to fix that problem. So maybe you just need to look a little bit inward and consider that you might be part of the problem and not the solution. Goes on to say you are affecting thousands of employees that are already impacted by all the hate despite doing their best to deliver incredible experiences. Well, this is the problem. We haven't had many incredible experiences for the last few years. Ask yourself this: how many games have truly been memorable, I don't know, for the last decade? I mean, I can't think of any really memorable games for me personally off the top of my head. Don't get me wrong, I've had fun with a lot of them. There's been a few decent ones this year. But am I going to celebrate them, remember them, and think they're the most amazing thing in a decade's time? No. No, there haven't been any games worthy of that for as long. I can't even remember the last title that came out that I was actually really excited about to play. Yeah, devs are doing their best to deliver incredible experiences, but are they actually fulfilling that promise? No, they're not. Half of these AAA titles that come out these days, your Ubisoft quadruple A titles, are akin to an early access indie game on Steam, except that they have ridiculous pricing. So here we have the monetization director for Ubisoft complaining about people celebrating the downfall and demise of these huge studios when you've got shit like this. $70 for the base game, a little bonus if you pre-order. Then you get $40 more for essentially 3 days early access and a season pass. I mean, who really cares? Is anybody going to play this game that long once they've finished it? Probably not. Or $130 for the Ultimate Edition. Oh, and if you're on PS5, well, too bad if you bought the game to get the 3 days early access because you had all your progress wiped anyway despite paying at least an extra $40. I know it was a few weeks ago now that this game came out, but, if you're complaining about gamers celebrating the demise of your business This is why. You're charging stupid prices for not much return, and you can't even deliver on it. This is dumb. How can you, and it continues on, how can you wish a company to fail simply because they do not cater to you or the product does not please you is simply beyond me. Yeah, it doesn't please us because we're not getting what we pay for. Is it that hard to believe? And it isn't just once. It's time and time and time again. Nearly every release. You know, look at the Assassin's Creed Shadows backlash that's coming out, especially from Japan, with a protagonist that nobody wants or even asked for getting foisted upon us when all we wanted to do was play a Japanese male protagonist samurai in a game about feudal Japan. But instead of listening to the people that they're trying to sell the product to, they're too busy calling them racist and bigots instead. I'm sorry, but if you're going to complain that people are celebrating your company performing poorly, this is why. You don't listen. Your sole goal is to clean out everybody's wallet and fail to deliver a product that's actually a memorable experience. And this is happening with every release, not just once or twice, every release. We're all in the same boat. Please, please, please stop spreading hate. We should all uplift each other instead of bringing each other down. Yeah, I get that. But there's been reports of Ubisoft recently having such a massive culture of toxic positivity that they're just ignoring any critical feedback from devs in regards to game direction, creative license in the games, who should be protagonists, art direction, all that sort of stuff, because you can't be negative. Everything has to be happiness and joy and all that fun stuff. When you can't take any criticism on board, even when it's constructive, you are doomed. You are doomed as a company. And this is why we're seeing Ubisoft crash and burn at the moment. And will they recover? Recent reports are saying basically the Guillemot family and of course Tencent are going to take over majority ownership. Now, you may love or hate Tencent. Certainly some people have issues with them. Chinese company, own a lot of stuff, CCP, all that stuff, I get it. But it's very rare for them to be involved with a gaming studio that produces bad games. You know, whether you love or hate a game like League of Legends, the game is still a very good game. You know, they were an investor into Black Myth Wukong most recently, and they've done another host of Chinese games that have been well received. So you would hope that with them on board, the creative direction and vision for Ubisoft will get back on track. And yeah, they used to produce really good games. No one's saying they didn't. But when you have these ridiculous monetization practices, delivering unfinished games, and then calling your target audience racist, bigots, non-decent human beings, I'm sorry, but you've totally lost the plot. And you deserve all the bad feedback and loss of money and all that sort of stuff that you were getting. That's pretty much all there is to it. But anyway, what are your thoughts? Is this my thought bubble on Ubisoft in this post? Do you agree with me? Do you think Stevie's right? I'd love to hear thoughts in the comments. And yeah, if you like my videos, I'd love a like and subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.